Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today, it's getting close to Christmas, and just for the holidays in general, I usually make this every year. So there's a ton of recipes out there, and there's a ton of ways you can do it. And you know, this is just my way of doing it, and everybody seems to like it. So you know, I do switch little things here every now and again, but I'm going to give you the basic setup that I use to do this treat. And today we are going to make the smoked Chex Mix. So I usually make a big batch of this, then I take it to work and I vacuum seal it in some bags to give to my family and friends and stuff like that. So I'm going to be making a big batch, like everybody always measures out like 3 cups this and 1 cup this, and actually I make so much that I use boxes. I use the whole box of cereal and everything else. So let's get started on that. And I already got the smoker going, so we'll throw this together and we'll get it in the smoker and get her ready. Alrighty guys, as you can see here, we got all the cereals laid out. I put in just simple things. People use Fritos, and they use the Funyuns, and they use all kinds of stuff. There's all kinds of stuff you can make your own, but I'm pretty classic on this. So I do switch a few things around. Like, you know, you got the corn Chex, the rice Chex, and then they make the wheat Chex, but I don't use the wheat Chex because first of all, it's hard to find. And I use Cinnamon Life, which is basically like the wheat Chex, wheat Chex. I can get that out. But they got the little cinnamon and sugar on there, and that seems to work out great. And then for my peanuts, I just put regular peanuts in. I mean, just peanuts. I don't put cashews or anything else in. But I use a jar of regular salted peanuts. But then I put in 1 jar of these sweet and spicy. That seems to kick the spice up just a little bit. And every now and again, you get a bite of one of those, and you're good to go. And I usually put 1 big box, 2 small boxes of cheeses in there. And of course, then our regular kind of spices here. Today's, I'm going to try this honey bacon barbecue. When you're putting rub on these Chex things, the first ingredient on here, unless you really like it salty, because you are going to use some Lowry seasoning salt in there, but the one spice that you want to have at the front is the sugar. Pork rubs are the best for this because they got a lot of sugars in them. Beef rubs, they're the ones that have the salts and peppers and everything in the beginning that have the most in there. So we don't want this to be so salty it kills you. So you want the first ingredient to be sugar, and that's what's in this one. So, all right, so we're gonna get this going, and we're gonna melt the butter down in the pan over there. And I got my big container here, this foldable basin here. We're gonna pop up, and we're gonna dump all this in, and then we're gonna butter and mixture together, and we'll get her mixing. All right, first thing we're gonna do is we'll get this pan fired up here. And because I'm making a big batch, I'm putting two sticks of butter in here. This is salted butter. So again, that's why I was saying with your rub, you want to keep it, you don't need all that salt for the first ingredient because we're going to have a lot of things that have salt in it. So we'll put 2 sticks of butter in here. Isn't it funny how you try to open these up and they got it folded just right that unless you do it exactly perfect, that the paper will rip every time. I just never get that. Like, why don't you make it simple? Okay. All right. We're going to get that melting around in there. So, while that's going, I'm going to take our Worcestershire sauce here. I know that's saying it very, very wrong, but that's what I do. And we're going to put in here 3 tablespoons. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Put that back in the fridge. All right. Now, I am going to put this on the smoker, but you can make this if you don't have a smoker, because not everybody does. They live in apartments or whatever they got to do. So, I'm going to put in here 1 tablespoon of liquid smoke, and I always put that in there because when you're smoking it, it's going to stick to the butter and everything's sticky on the outside. And if you don't, sometimes it doesn't get all the way penetrated through and you just get this outside little taste. So I want it to be soaked in with the butter that absorbs into the cereal and everything as well. So now we're going to let this come to a melt, and because you can see in there it's still part of the sticks. And then when it gets melted and starts to just bubble just a little bit, then we're going to take it and we're going to add our spices in. Alrighty, as you can see here, this is now all melted. There ain't no sticks left in there. Now we're going to take this container, and this is a 13-ounce container here. And I usually have, as you can see here through all my other containers, you know, I got a ton of these containers. They're all different spices, but they're all the same size. So I'm going to pour in half, because again, I'm making a big batch. I want half of this in there. I'm going to pour half of it in. Let's see here. I got my thumb there on the halfway mark, so I know where I'm at. That's pretty close. All right. Now we'll get that mixed around. I'm going to put that away. We are not putting in the Lowry's until the end. We won't put that on, but I'll show you when you do that, because that can get away from you and then you're back to where you can't eat it because it's so dang salty. But again, this is mainly sugar in here. So, oh geez, I just splashed. So I'm going to let this melt down here and get mixed together with the butter. And then we're going to shut this off and put it to the side. And we'll get our basin broke down and get everything mixed together inside there so we can start mixing this together. All right, guys. All right. Now we got these butters all ready to go. Take this whole box here of the cereal. We're going to put that one in. Got them right there, the whole box. All right. And don't worry about making too much, because when your friends and everybody know you have this made, it doesn't last at your house very long. Good. Getting down there now. Now, I don't really usually put a full bag of these in, just because not everybody wants to eat pretzels and they're so filling anyway. All right, put about half or so of the bag in there. Now, here's the peanuts. They go both jars go right in there. Again, you know, this is going to be a big batch. So we get all them peanuts in there. They were the spicy ones. These are the regular ones. Let's see here. There's always one jar in every recipe I do that's a fire. All right, there you go. Good. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my gloves on so I can mix this like meatloaf, and we're going to start pouring the butter in. Okay, guys. So when I started to think about mixing this, you always want to mix it like before you put the butter on to get it like everything mixed together and moved around. I saw that I was going to have a little trouble doing it with video without it falling out the sides and everything. So I put it in this bigger container, which makes it a little easier. So give us a nice little stir here. So we get all the stuff off the bottom, all mixed around. And then we're just going to sprinkle half of this on. We're just going to sprinkle half. And then we're going to mix it around. And then we'll put the other half in. Okay, just like that. And the reason we do that is we don't want to, if we pour it on there, by the time we get it mixed to a certain spot, it'll be soaked into the cereal, and then when you bite into that, it'll be a straight buttery spice bath that you'll be stuck in your mouth with. You don't want that. You just want everything to be evenly coated. Okay, I'll pour the other half in. Get all those spices in there. Again, as we mix this around, it'll be mixing with everything else in there. So you can see now everything's becoming nice and shiny. That's what you want. You want it to just be nice and shiny. You don't want it to be soaked and all mushy and falling apart. It's funny when you do it like this, like meatloaf. Do it all in there and you tell everybody it was made with love. Make sure you get the bottom. Make sure everything in the bottom is coated too. We're gonna mix this for just a couple minutes. Make sure everything is covered. Okay. Now, I'm going to take one of my gloves off here because I don't want to get my container here covered with butter. So we're going to now get the Lowry seasoning salt. And this is just by look here. We're just going to take and we're just going to coat the top of it just a little bit. You don't put a lot in here. Maybe one tablespoon tops. Okay? We're not really trying to really get it that salty, but you just want to give it a little bit of the extra Lowry's kick. And we're going to just mix this all together. I'm down to one hand now, so it makes it a little more difficult. That's okay. Again, you're going to get everything from the bottom. And now, when you get this all mixed around, because basically everything in here is cooked already, just butter and spice and some salt, you can actually try a piece right now and see what it tastes like. Let's give it a try. I think I'm going to just add a little bit more salt to it. Just a little bit. Probably another half a tablespoon or so. Just because there's a lot in there. That almost hit the spot. Give us a quick stir. And I'm going to stir this up, and then we're going to get it moved into foil pans, and we'll get it out to the smoker. All right, guys. So, as you can see, here's our foil pan. So, I'm going to start putting some in here. We're going to fill up this foil pan. I have to get a couple of them because I'm going to do this in 2 batches. And then we'll fill her up 3/4 of the way full, or half of this, maybe a little bit more. And then we'll take her out and put her on the smoker. All right, guys, so you can see now that I ended with 3 pans, 2 of the half pans, 1 of the big pans. Well, we're going to put this all back together later back in that container, because what happens is, like, this was the last pan poured, and all your peanuts and everything that are on the bottom, the heavier stuff and smaller stuff, falls to the bottom. So we're going to put it back in that big container after it's smoked, remix it together, and then start scooping it out and put it in bags to serve. All right, so let's get out to the smoker. Okay, guys, sorry about the sun. It is early in the morning here. We're going to open this smoker up. Oh, we can see that's roaring already. And we're going to put our pans in here. Put these 2 up top here. Put the big one on the bottom. All right. I'm going to let that in there. Run at 250 for 3 to 4 hours until the right smoky flavor. I'll come out and test it, and if it's smoky enough, then I'll shut her down. But it should be 3 to 4 hours on 250. Okay, guys. So it's been there just under 3 hours, a couple minutes under 3 hours, right at 3 hours. They were in these pans right here. I dumped them all back in here, gave it a mix. As you can see, there's little bits in there that got a little browner than because it was closer to the fire. That's okay. That's what gives it this unique flavor. So get this all mixed together. Oh, there's a nice one. Cheese it. That's a little brown. Man, nice smoky flavor. It's not too greasy. You can see my hands ain't shining up here. It's all baked in well. Man, it's got that sweet and salty taste to it with a little bit of kick behind it. So, hope you guys enjoy this one. This is great to make for the holidays. I'm going to bag this up in a vacuum sealer and give a bunch out to my friends and family. Hope you enjoy it. Please subscribe and keep telling your friends. Thanks again.